beverage, do you see Linda? Okay? Do you see the beverage, see Linda? And short C, so I very much know Siggy. Originally I'm from Austria, so my accent is similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger, as you might be able to tell. And so thanks very much for coming to my little garden talk. I'm a very passionate gardener. I would love to get to a place where I can do gardening half of my day and do my other work half the day. So, and this year, so I'm 51 years old, and I had my best garden ever this year. Okay. So, and hopefully I have another 50 years of gardening and sharing my enthusiasm, and hopefully raise young gardeners. I think we need to grow things again, and we have a lot of space here in Raleigh. Lots of people have very, very big, lots of big pieces of land. So it would be nice to grow things for our bees and for ourselves. Yeah. So I brought two things. It's the bread that I used is When Pigs Fly, grainy pumpkin seed bread, and on one side is garlic bread. There's lots of freshly chopped garlic from my own garlic in olive oil. And this bread over here, there's a spread in Austria called Liptauer. Liptauer is actually, I think it's a former area in the Czech Republic. And it's a spread that we make out of this, it's a dairy product, but it doesn't exist yet. It's called, in Austria it's called Topfen, the Germans call it Quark, just like with the British and the Americans. You have a few different names. It's not identical British English or American English. So, because I can't find this thing, I found it just 2 days ago. Because I was looking for a savory spread for breakfast. So I thought, I have this Greek yogurt that's very thick. Why don't I try doing that? So this it's Greek yogurt with lots of frozen parsley and frozen chives, a little and a sprinkle of salt. So feel free. And I've forgotten napkins. I'm going to grab your napkins. So, and then do you want to take garlic too? And you're going to spread it around. So I'm going to get you fed and. That's awesome. I love it. Is it good? Yeah. And so I grow tons of parsley, and it's still alive. It's still alive. Let's feed the cameraman too. Are you webcasting this today? Pardon? Are you webcasting? Yes. Is this alive on the internet? Is it live right now?
No, but it'll be on TV in a few days.
Tune in.
Okay.
Is it? Which website do you have?
It's going to be as a local access TV channel, Raleigh Community Media.
Oh, but it'll be aired at a later date, or at a later date?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
So enjoy your little treat, and don't be shy. Look around, eat some more.
This is very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. It works really well. Mm-hmm. So again, the parsley is easy. Does anyone have experience growing parsley? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's still, the frost hasn't harmed it one bit. It doesn't even look oftentimes when it's starting to freeze, some plants are dead immediately, and some come back again. They have this amazing vascular system. Hello, Margaret. Welcome, Margaret. Does everybody know Margaret from the Montessori school? Yeah. Margaret, we have this 2 little toasts with garlic bread or with fresh herbs, parsley, chives. Enjoy. And so parsley is wonderful because it's a perennial. No, it's not a perennial. It'll be dead once it really is freezing, but you cut and cut and cut and harvest and harvest and harvest. So as soon as it's up and it looks nice and bushy, I start harvesting and chopping and freezing so that I have all winter and I never have to go to market basket, hopefully, and buy parsley. Pick one of these bushels up, stick my nose to it, and smell absolutely nothing from the supermarket. It just, it's washed out, it smells and tastes like absolutely nothing. Might as well not have any parsley on there. And my own, as you just tasted it, it's frozen. And the same with chives. So chives, if you don't have any experience with chives, heavenly. And that is a perennial. It keeps coming back. You go outside, you cut a bushel, chop it fine, and it just keeps producing. It's the two best things. And salads, to make a fresh salad and to be able to know that these two simple things out in your garden, and you can chop some down in a minute and have it. Great. So, as I had already said, I'm 51 years old and I just had the best garden ever. So, again, Siglinde, also known as Siggy. So if anybody ever wants any help with gardening, let me know. I will happily come over and assist you in any of your endeavors. And later you can reach in. I did a lot of harvesting this fall. So I have little seed packets that if you want any of these for the spring. Yellow and orange marigolds. Does anybody have any experience growing marigolds?
Yes.
Great. So the seeds look very funny, like a little straw with a darker end and a lighter end. And then very key when the plant comes up, as soon as it grows the first little blossom, you have to pinch it. You have to basically pinch the little first head off to make it bushy. If you don't, it'll just be this scrawny little plant. But if you pinch off the little head, it's called forcing the plant. It then grows more vigorously. Then each one of these little seed packets has 2 butternut squash seeds in it. My butternut squash is unreal. There will be a picture in the slideshow. I'm in Austria every year for almost a month. And I have the daughter of a friend who keeps an eye on my garden, waters things, and feeds our cats. My dog is with her boyfriend during the time. And before I went to Austria, there was this one viney plant and big yellow blossoms. I hadn't planted it. I had no idea what it was going to be, if it was a zucchini or a pumpkin or whatever. When we came back, I realized, it's butternut squash, and I'm following the vine. It's all over the place. It's like snaking its way all the way through the garden. And I counted 5 butternut squash, massive. And again, you'll see the picture. I'm literally talking massive. You'll see the picture. So I haven't planted those guys. Those came from the compost. So, fantastic. They're also called volunteer plants. I also have morning glories. If anyone has any chance of them growing over whatever little fencing, pardon?
The chicken coop.
The chicken, yeah. Do you have morning glories? Yeah, love them. And it seems like hummingbirds really like them, right? The morning glories.
I haven't seen them on the morning glories.
Okay. And then I have arugula seeds. Anybody have experience growing arugula? I harvested truckloads. I basically begged all of Raleigh, please come help me get my And many people kept saying, your arugula is the best. And I don't necessarily believe that. I need to do a blind taste test and verify, that is really so, that I could tell a difference. Welcome, Susan. Hi, Lily. We welcomed everybody earlier. We want to feed you right away, Susan. If you want to taste something, we made some garlic bread and another little spread thing. If you want to taste it, there's a little green. Thank you. So the arugula is absolutely glorious as well because it just grows profusely. I had 1 packet of seeds that I bought in the spring, and I made 5 rows in these raised beds in 2 beds. And that was a mistake. That's what left me with truckloads of arugula. I couldn't. So next year I'm just going to plant 1 bed. Unless you want to, Bob, you would already tell me that, yes, you'll come over and help me eat it. Because I can't let it go to waste. So I literally have to eat mountains, truckloads of arugula every day for lunch. What else? Is there anything else in here? That's it. So marigolds, arugula, morning glories, and butternut squash. Okay, so, and then we have a few raffles. So you'll enter your name into crazy good house plants also. Has anybody ever heard of Mother of Thousands? Okay. This crazy guy, I got this, I was just introduced to this a few months ago. Sarah Bork, right here from Raleigh also, a landscape designer, architect, gave me 15 little plants, just fit in a yogurt cup, 15 little plants. Now I have 15 of these big guys. And they produce on the leaves, it's very unique, the babies grow on the outside of the leaves, and they drop into the soil. So that down here, you see the little ones growing. Okay. So one of you will be going home with a mother of thousands.
Does it flower?
It can. Outdoors, it flowers. Rarely does it flower inside.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read that, I said, wow, has anybody ever grown any aloe indoors?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Has your aloe ever flowered inside? Mine did. One day, literally, we were still living in West Newbury. I walk up the living room stairs, and I look at my aloe and thinking, what the heck, I didn't notice it's maybe about this tall in the middle. It's flowering, holy schmoly. So maybe this guy will flower too. So with just the right condition, who knows? Then I'm also raffling off this mount here. That's a surprise, I haven't mentioned that. The reason I did that is because I had bought these asters already a month ago. And as you can see, there's nothing purple left on here. There's a few more a few more little buds on there, but I don't know if they will still open. So somebody will be walking home with these and planting them somewhere, and I would be happy to plant them for you if you need any help with that. These are just little, walking with the dog, I found these little things, I stuck them in there, and I also found these little berry things. And I thought these were black-eyed Susans. I'm looking at me, but just not having me out. Black-eyed Susans. But they're not black-eyed Susans, it's actually an annual, and I double-checked again, so it will die. But it's amazing how, there's still some yellow blossoms on there. So, because I said I would raffle off some asters, but I didn't want to risk not getting any from the flower stores, and sure enough, everybody's sold out. I couldn't bring you a pretty aster, they're all gone, and these didn't make it long enough. But these asters will come back bigger and better every year, and it's the best thing you can plant for bees. Late in the fall, September, October, when everything is dead, your asters will be abloom, and you will have hundreds of bees on them. Okay.
So those are perennials then?
Asters, yes. Only perennials, I like them so much more than mums, because asters, they will definitely come back. Beautiful color, very, very much like your jacket. And mums will come back too, if. So, does anybody have any experience with mums coming back if you plant them? Okay, very good. So, they do come back. Most people buy them and, leave them in the planters and, out on the stairs, and they will be dead. Okay? But if they're planted in the ground and mulched properly, any other suggestions from anybody?
A lot of water.
A lot of water.
When you plant them, they need a lot of water.
Exactly. Initially, or even once they're well established, you keep watering?
I haven't, no, but initially.
Initially, right. Initially, with anything you plant, water. Yeah. Good. So, in case you don't know, so when you buy a plant like this, and it's stuck in this container, it's what is called root logged. So you really have to take a sharp tool and rip the roots apart and dig a hole nice and big so the roots can really spread, and water quite a bit so the roots really want to go deep. That's the best way to keep plants alive, to have a very healthy root system. Okay? So my mom that I planted last year came back again. So my big mission, get young people to be introduced to gardening. So many people don't know anything anymore, or even our generations, we were never taught. I never was taught anything by my mother. I just watched. But it became a big passion. And as we know that so many species are dying off, and our planet is producing fewer and fewer things that bloom, and endless lawn spaces and monocultures. It's not very beneficial for all of our bees and butterflies. So the more we can contribute and make growing things, the better it will be for the bees and the butterflies and the planet and for us. So to get started for gardening, so there will be some vegetable garden talking, but also flowers. The combination, I think, is wonderful. The bees need lots of food. So location. The house that we ended up buying in Raleigh has a double lot, and the one that the house is sitting on has a very shady backyard, so we're totally limited what I can grow there for vegetables. But my husband, he has so-called man cave, a 2-car garage on the second lot, and behind it was this ideal place where I could really put in a vegetable garden. But he said, absolutely no, this is his land, and I have this whole other lot. But basically I had to beg and say, please, honey, just, I had to argue and tell him why he needed to concede this piece of land to me, and not to worry, he will get it back, but I need to lease it for the rest of his life. So you need sun, so when you stand there and when you first put in your garden, you need as much sun as possible in order to grow these vegetables. And there are plenty of, if you don't have much sun, and if you have lots of shade, there are plenty of wonderful shade-loving plants too. So. And manure, compost. So with regard to manure compost, last year I went all out, and a friend, he has the horses on the way to Ipswich, the polo horses. He brought me a truckload of horse manure, but some people say, oh, you should use cow manure or chicken manure, whatever, So yeah, I did pretty well with my horse manure. It was wonderful. It was a laborious task, but and compost on top, and so I don't think I need to supplement for a year or two. Anybody's guess with having delivered all this horse manure for this planting season, how soon I might have to augment with fresh manure? I think I might be good for a few years. Margaret, do you have any idea?
I think so. I used Jay's horse manure 1 year.
Right.
But it was good for, I think, a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of started.
So we have a horse farm, but we don't. We wait till it's like 4 or 5 years compost.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it binds up the nitrogen. There's a lot of shavings.
Yeah.
That's in the bed.
Right. Yeah, it was aged, but
It was aged.
it wasn't that aged. It wasn't. I asked him. Pardon?
Yeah, that's right.
The Polish guy.
Yeah.
Polo horses.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's friend of ours.
Yeah, great. My daughter's very good friends with his son, Augie.
Yeah. But the horse manure, because we use shavings as bedding, it's pine chips, and so it binds up the nitrogen. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So we wait till it's really black
Yeah.
in the back of the pile.
So I asked him, is it aged? It has to be aged. Oh yeah, sure. And then he comes and like, I'm afraid this isn't nearly as aged as. What that? Take back.
I take my big compost bag for all my food.
Yeah.
I mixed it. I mixed it with quicker nitrogen
Yeah.
the soil.
So I put all the horse manure in there, lots of wheelbarrows. I was very dirty. I'm glad nobody came to visit me that day. I was like on the site spreading a truckload of horse manure in 6 big raised beds, and then I asked another friend still to bring me another truckload of compost, because I still have enough room in the bed, so the seeds didn't go directly on the horse manure. I had a safety cushion so that it wouldn't be burnt, because the fresh horse manure. Okay, so in raised beds, I started initially when I finally when the land was conceded to me for the purposes of putting in a vegetable garden. I didn't have raised beds. I just started going, but it's, the bending over, and they're not, only this tall, but it's pretty, the weeds are easier to maintain, of course, and so it just looks much, much lovelier. And so I do have a former neighbor who is a landscape person. Margaret can vouch for him too, right, yeah. Margaret? Would you vouch for Jay?
I would vouch for that.
Nice guy. He drives for Noonan's now, and he doesn't have a lot of work right now, so if you need any help at all, as long as the weather is still fine, he'll be happy to come and bring all the lumber. So he's the one who brought the lumber and who put in my raised beds, and who brought me the compost to put on top of the horse manure.
I have a question about raised beds. What's your preference? Just making a raised bed? What's the difference between a raised bed and just putting it right into the ground? Other than you have to, prepare the soil.
Yeah, it's just a little easier and easier to contain, and easier to back, a little to contained. Yeah, my weeds, and the crabgrass. I have to put, paths in there to keep the crabgrass out. It does look like a jungle when you're away for a few weeks. The high school waters doesn't do weeding, so I'm out there for a day catching up with weeding, so fewer weeds, containing it better. Yeah. Good. So I had already mentioned at the beginning, so the favorite and easy things to start with, and so wonderful to have in your kitchen with a name almost notice: parsley, chives, arugula, basil. I haven't checked in my freezer how much pesto I've left, but I did make a ton of pesto with my basil. Harvesting, and I just love how it keeps growing back. It's just never ending. And it's delicious. I mean, it's when I defrost the finished pesto, it's a little brown on top, a little dark, but I mix it up and it's fresh and it's delicious. Another savory breakfast, just like that white spread there with the Greek yogurt. Pesto and tomatoes on this Pig's Fly or whatever your favorite bread is what these favorite breakfasts. A crunchy toast with these spreads.
Does
Yes.
it matter what kind of parsley? Because I've done parsley before and it's not done well. Unlike you, I have endless amount of sun
Yeah.
and not enough shade. So I never could keep the parsley. Is there a specific variety of parsley?
There's a flatweed for one,
Okay.
and his Italian parsley is slightly different. That's what most people plant in
Curly, is that something called the curly parsley also?
Oh, okay.
The Italian, yeah, I have Italian parsley too, very.
We're moving the garden, so I'm
Okay.
trying to get it a little bit more shady.
Okay. Mine is in full sun. Full sun, how about your
If I
parsley?
don't go out there in the water constantly,
Yeah.
I had a water bill of $400 per month in the summer.
Yeah.
So I can keep doing this.
Yeah, exactly. It can get a little pricey. Yeah. So again, the parsley is very hardy and survives the first few frosts. So we've already had very cold weather.
I have a question. My arugula came up because I let it go to seed.
Yeah.
And it's been frosted and frozen and everything else, and it still looks good. It's still
Right.
edible, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
You could, love to taste your arugula.
Yeah, it's only about this tall.
I wanted to bring, if I wasn't sure that I might have not technology issues, one thing that I wanted to do real quick still is grab a bowl of arugula to bring here to show you that this is fresh from the garden still. Yeah,
Good. Good.
yeah. So I might still be eating arugula in December. Yeah. You too? You still have a bunch? Yeah.
We know, not much.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And berries, another favorite thing. You will see a picture of the 3 raspberry plants that I started with. 3 little plants, and now it's a sea of them. In the summer, I could tell 1/3 of the sea of raspberry bushes had a lot of blossoms on it, and the other 2/3 didn't. I'm thinking, we'll see. I come back from Austria, I've eaten already the 1/3 that came early. I came back from Austria, and the other 2/3 were fully in bloom, so it turns out I must have 2 different varieties. And so I still ate raspberries until about a week or 2 ago. And huge. So one thing that I didn't bring that I said I was going to bring, but that's it, raspberries. We're also raffling off a raspberry bush. I'm going to have to grab a pen real quick. I'll be right back. Do not forget. Just a moment. So the great thing about raspberries, growing profusely, and you can give them away. And the nicest thing to go out and water your things and fill your belly with raspberries. Anybody have any success with raspberries? To grow raspberries?
Tried black raspberries.
Yes, I bought some at Russell Orchards this summer with a friend. We were looking for the raspberries, and they told us where they were. But on the way to the raspberries, we came upon black raspberries. We never made it to the raspberries because we were full. Yeah. How about you, Bob?
No.
Raspberries? Yeah. Fantastic.
I have raspberries, but I had to transplant them because we had to take away the area.
Yeah.
They didn't transplant. I was surprised. They all died. I'm hoping that maybe
Yeah.
they'll come back next year.
Yeah.
Or I'll just plant some more.
Do you think you dug enough around?
Probably
enough
not. It was very close to the driveway. So I don't know if the roots
Yeah.
under the driveway
Yeah.
that we couldn't dig out
Okay.
got destroyed. So.
Yeah. That's why I think I ate at least a big handful of raspberries from maybe June until just recently.
It lasts all summer.
Yeah.
Do the deer
And
come
the-
to those a lot?
The deer?
The deer?
No.
No.
Apropos deer though, so you will see one picture why, even though we live fairly early also, we live woods right near the Prophet near Margaret's house. I do have a wonderful deer repellent. I'll introduce you to my deer repellent in a moment. And strawberries, lots of strawberries. And I have them mixed in with my perennials, and they're all over the place. I love mixed, some raspberries, some flowers. And there's one variety that I bought that keeps yielding also, so I eat raspberries, don't let them forget probably.
Are they perennials?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so another treat that I gave myself, late in the fall, when I really felt like, hey, no spending money, but I felt like I needed something. I needed something to make me truly happy, so I had to rush down to Wolf Hill and spend a few hours in there wandering around. And sure enough, I come upon peach trees, and maybe about this tall, every one of them 20, 30 peaches on them. And I said, you're coming home with me. So, and then I had messed up my shoulder, rotator cuff injury, thanks to my little dog seeing a squirrel before I did. So here I am standing with my peach tree, and I know it needs a big hold, so I have to wait again for my husband to come home and say, can you dig me a big hole for my raspberry tree? Unless I want to scream all night with my shoulder aching. So the peaches were wonderful. I hope that the transition wouldn't, that all the peaches wouldn't be sitting on the ground the next day from the shock of being moved and transplanted. But no, maybe 2 or 3 fell off, and the rest, I kept saying to people who come visit for my dog, neighbors, want a peach? You have a peach tree? Yes, I do. So enjoy your peaches. Anybody else have experience with fruit trees?
Yeah, this year was terrible. We got these little tiny peaches.
Yeah.
That's about all they got.
Yeah. And they ripen? Were they delicious still anyway?
No, I didn't try to eat them.
Yeah.
Honest, if you have chickens, when they were really small, one fell, and one of my chickens packed it and ate it. And I'm pretty sure it had to be that peach. Either died from it getting stuck, or the seed itself, because seeds are
Yeah.
So, when they were first really small.
Yeah. What I'm dying to get, a neighbor in Austria, in this hillside village radio house, has kiwis, tiny little kiwis. They leave a female and a male plant against the wall of a house. She eats kiwis all summer long. In Austria isn't, by no means Australia or New Zealand, the most wonderful little kiwis. But I need the backside of my husband's man cave garage. And he won't do it. So it might still take me a little while to get that perfect land for the kiwis. Any other trees? I'm dying to have plum trees. Everybody in Austria has plum trees. We eat so many plums. Okay. So, and here's now a few pictures. These amazing sunflowers that I had this year. Anybody else do really well with sunflowers? Like the best sunflowers, yeah? Do you keep the seeds?
They grow from the bird feeders.
Right.
So they just drop and they grow. So I don't even plant them anymore because they grow from
Yeah.
bird feeders.
But I'm out in the front yard under the bird cedars, and I see sunflower plants, sunflower plants. I
Yeah.
have to go dig them up right away. I have to salvage them from, somebody comes with a lawnmower. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We just let them grow.
I planted them when the chipmunks dug up all the seeds again.
Yeah. The chipmunks, yeah, absolutely. They are.
Disappointed.
Yeah. So, anybody know what this is? Amaranth. I love them. This is a tiny one still. I had one this big, with thick, almost as thick as my arm. These red. I saw them first maybe 25 years ago in the garden of a friend of mine who lived with these Italian people. The best garden I've ever seen in America, in Arlington. These Italians had these amaranth plants everywhere, and they're just stunning. You might see them in flower arrangements. They're just drape down. So love those. Then this is in front of our house. I made this one stretch, and these I bought those 2 years ago, and they were so bushy this year, and so many flowers and bloom forever. A zillion bees on them. I forgot what this is. Anybody know what this is? I just took the picture of it and I said I have to add it anyway. Yes, it is a zinnia. It's just the prettiest orange color. And then I have to show you a little before and after. This is our backyard, so very shady. Just so you see a barn in the back, in the center of the picture, and just beyond that is Margaret's Montessori school. Okay, so this is in the spring. You see the phlox and, violets and all kinds of things. And but this is what the garden looked like when we bought it. Our house, no, this won't, of course.
Good try.
Let me try again. I took a picture. This is a picture of a picture that I took. Our house was a foreclosure, and the gentleman, you might even know him, Bill Stevens, really he had the most amazing backyard, most amazing water features, cobblestones, and he tore everything up, and he needed a bank, but he knew that the bank would foreclose on his house. So when we bought this foreclosure here in Raleigh, this is what I inherited, totally destroyed. And again, this is what it looks like now. I did this all by myself. Not too bad.
Nice job.
So, and here's the arugula field.
Wow.
One of the raised beds. And this is where it's still very tiny when it first comes up. I had plenty of them, of course, growing long stalks like this and the blossoms. But the leaves are delicious nevertheless, even if it outgrows and grows out, right? Doesn't bother me at all. And here are the butternut squash. They were crazy. And again, it was the most fun thing to follow the vines growing all over the place, over the rock wall and along the rock wall. And here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. They're nicely aging downstairs in the basement. I haven't cooked them yet, but apropos cooking, so butternut squash pancakes. I'm a trained chef in my previous life in Europe also, so grating these butternut squash, and I add chickpea flour, coconut, egg, and coriander, parsley, a little bit of chopped onion. They make the best butternut squash pancakes. So if you need any recipes too, let me know. They're to die for. And then I also made pear sauce with it. A friend, Sarah Bork, Railroad Avenue, I go walking with her and her dog, and I see a pear tree on her property. I said, Sarah, oh my goodness, so many pears. And she said, you want them? I said, sure. So big canvas bag, as many as it could hold before the handles might give. Of course, you slave away in the kitchens. This is a lot of work sometimes, making this pear sauce and bringing her one jar. Sarah and her husband won't neglect those pears anymore. They're hooked on the pear sauce. So pairing the butternut squash pancakes with the pear sauce, absolutely delightful. We'll do some cooking classes too. So this is on the left there, where the little watering can is my husband's two-car garage. And this is before I put in the raised beds. So you can see, it's weeds. I wouldn't have probably shown this thing off. It was, my sisters and my mom wouldn't have been terribly impressed with this, but this is how it got started, So as you can see, all kinds of things in there, tomatoes and the arugula and the raspberry bushes are in the front here. Me borrowing the sage. So the raspberry bushes are right here. And I started with 3 bushes, and just huge now. And this is what it looks like now, just picture out of focus. So here are 2 of the arugula beds in the spring. So, anybody know what that is?
Chinese lanterns?
No.
Brown
Gooseberries, right. Also known as physalis, brown cherries. I was very bummed in June. I suddenly remembered, I didn't get any, I never found any of these seeds. But then I thought, no, it's too late anyway. Don't order these seeds anymore. Don't even look for them. You don't have any space anyway. It's too late. You don't have any space. And then I see coming up in between the arugula plants, I see this little fuzzy leaf. Like, you are not an arugula. Are you a weed? Or I'm going to have to give you another week or 2 because I don't know yet what you are. And then I see the little lanterns. And inside the lanterns, the gooseberries. And I had one bush. So they're all self-seeded, just like the butternut squash did. So I had this one plant, huge, huge, huge. The best ones, let them drop off the plant. Don't pick them off the plant. Only when they drop off are they really ripe and sweet and delicious. But I would dare say almost that these guys are almost invasive. But what a wonderful invasive thing to have, to eat. They're absolutely delicious. So if you want to grow any of these, I should have. Do you have any experience with those? With the Donald?
No.
Do you have any? No, okay.
You go up behind it.
I was tempted to dig it up, and I've dug them up previously because they're not winter hardy, they will freeze and die, and they still have 150 of these little lanterns on them with these little berries that have yet to ripen.
I've had
But-
chocolate-covered gooseberries.
Oh, delicious, right? Yeah. So, but when I've dug them up, the plants, they have such a fine and intensive root system, they just wilt away and die. Digging them up is almost hopeless. So I tried to dig it up to bring it inside so that it wouldn't be killed in the frost, but it was too late. So sure enough, after the first frost, I go outside and it's totally dead. And they won't ripen anymore. Like tomatoes, they might still ripen. So I just next year I have to transplant it because it's in the back of the raised bed garden. So I have to transplant these things earlier into sunnier spots because they really, it was a little bit too much shade, but I still harvested a ton.
Did you make like a jam with them, or did you just eat them as they were?
Right after I have a handful of raspberries, I have a handful of those.
You eat very healthy.
Yes. Yep. So, and so this is again before before I had the raised beds. So always a ton of sunflowers here to attract lots of bees. So here then the raspberry bushes behind, and then all the various things here. The back of the property here abuts Glen. So Weathersfield wraps around here, and Glen has bees. So we need each other. I need his bees to to pollinate my plants, and his bees need my food. So it's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, his bees did very well, and I hope they survive the winter. So, as you might know from some beekeepers, the bees just keep dying and dying and dying. Everybody, a bunch of people in Raleigh and everybody saying, "Yeah."
Are you an organic gardener?
I don't spray anything. So, yeah. Do you? I don't have to.
Yes, I try. Yes,
I don't have to. I don't use anything.
So you didn't have to put anything on your peach tree. Somebody told me I have to spray it. I don't put it.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Do you water your raised beds very often?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
That's a lot of work.
What was the question?
If I water my raised beds a lot
Do you use a hose and a sprinkler, or do you do it by hand?
by hand. So I have water barrels behind the house in the backyard. I'm trying to convince my husband we need gutters so I can catch the rainwater there. He won't have any of that. He keeps saying no.
that'd be good.
So grumpy. So,
Question about it. I have an apple tree that's probably 45 years old, a dwarf,
yeah,
and I'm getting no apples off it anymore. Is
Yeah.
it lack of bees? Is a lot of it,
yeah,
because we used to have a beekeeper down the street and he passed away.
yeah.
But I've never fertilized it. Is that something I should do?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Maybe it's just got too old. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I know everybody in Austria grows stuff. There isn't anybody that a friend's family, but I don't know anybody who fertilized trees. I've never heard of it, never seen
No, I haven't
anybody.
either.
Never, yeah. But, the
You
people...
could try it. Those things you push in the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, with a thorough pruning. I have no idea if you ever pruned it.
Yeah, I prune the suckers off and just load the suckers.
Yeah.
It's a Macintosh. But
Okay.
again, it's a dwarf, but it's old.
Yeah. It's such a shame when there's nothing wrong with it too. Yeah, I know. Every once it happens. Yeah. Okay. All right, and then here the difference again, another difference that you might see. This over here, I don't know what it is, this weed along the rock wall here with these blue blossoms grows like crazy. Pretty, nice blue blossoms, but crazy. So this is pre-weeding, and this is post-weeding. And then the vines actually, so this is before I took the pictures, before the vines, but the butternut squash were draping one butternut squash plant in here, and the vine grew over here, and there was a butternut squash here, and the vine grew over here, and there were two butternut squash here, and then one butternut squash was wedged. I came back just in time from vacation to take that butternut squash that was wedged in between the wood from the raised bed and the stone wall, and bring it back out because it literally, yeah. So, and then here you see a little bit on the raspberry bushes. So. Raspberries only grow on the second year stalks, on the second year, so. Pardon?
I said that's interesting.
Yeah. So whatever produced this year, whatever you see, this bared raspberries this year, cut it. It won't produce again. Okay. And all this here is all the green, tiny little after the blossoms, the berries that are coming, laden with raspberries. Amazing. And tons and tons and tons of bees. The dog almost gets afraid of the raspberry bushes. You won't go anywhere near them because buzzing with bees. So, yeah. Okay. So these are the 3 raspberry bushes that I started with, and 3 years later, it's a seed. Great. And does anybody know what that picture is on the left?
It looks like Queen Anne's lace.
I made a wonderful syrup with it in May, beginning of June. Elderberry blossom syrup. So in May, hopefully, I'll be back and we'll be making elderberry blossom syrup. It's to die for. It grows everywhere. I have to be sure not to have an accident on Route 1 or wherever, because I'm like, elderberry.
It grows wild.
Yes, profusely. So, and always only harvest the third or half, leave half on there for the bees and for it to actually produce berries for the birds in the winter. Yeah, delicious. So here's the raspberries, as you can see, tons and tons of raspberries. And here is this is where I'm making elderberry blossom syrup with organic lemons and citric acid and sugar and the elderberry blossom. You bring it all to a boil. You sit in the basement. 3 days, bring it to a boil again, strain it, and fill it up into bottles. It's a delightful syrup to mix with sparkling water or a wonderful drink called Hugo. It's sparkling water, half sparkling water and half white wine with a generous amount of the elderberry blossom syrup. With all the reward, eating, wonderful food. So the tomato sauce soup looks a little more orange, and I made a lot of raspberry jam from the raspberries. Then, so this is one of the guys. That thanks to him. So make sure you rest in between all this hard work. And an outdoor cat is very advisable to keep away the deer and the rabbits. And
He patrols our yard too.
yes. So Charlie, unfortunately, he does love rabbit. Rabbit is his favorite meat. So he does eat rabbit. Yeah. And nice tomatoes and sunflowers. Here's another guy that, thanks to him, he eats a lot of mice, lots of dead mice, thanks to him. This is Stritzi up in the tree. I always have to make sure that I grab a branch and poke her from all sides. It's wonderful to play with her outside. Because if you have amaryllises, it's been driving me mad. My mom has beautiful amaryllises every Christmas, and mine won't ever bloom again, ever. All I have is beautiful foliage. So finally, last year I called in frustration and said, Mom, why the heck will my amaryllis bloom? She says, do you get foliage? I said, yes, that's your problem. How do I get not foliage and get the blossom? She says, well, here you have to fertilize. So I recently took my amaryllis bulb, all I have is one, out of the dirt in a brown bag under the kitchen sink, and then I marked my calendar mid-November to take it out from the kitchen sink, put it in dirt again, and heavily fertilize. Only then will you get a blossom. So if you see the beginnings of leaves again sprouting, forget it. You won't get a blossom. The bulb puts all the energy into producing the foliage and not the blossom.
What kind of fertilizer do you use?
Miracle Grow, all, anything and everything. Yeah, plant food. So I'm hesitant to use it, but I want amaryllis. And the strawberries, of course, are delicious, delicious. Oh, and after gardening, make sure you stretch. Here's my little dog, very frustrated. Like, come on, I've been gardening, and now you do yoga when it's at my time. Okay, so, and this, I'm dying to have those again. This is our house in Austria, along this rock wall, my lupines.
I've never seen that color.
Aren't they crazy colors?
Orange and,
Are those edible, Sadie?
No.
No.
I've
What
never
am I
seen,
thinking of that looks like that? Do you know what I'm thinking of? No.
I've never seen orange ones ever. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So I'm dying to have a little seed of lupines again somewhere. So if you have some lawn space to sacrifice, I'll plant the lupines. I'll come with the seeds. So I'd love, like, I don't know if you could have 10, 15, 20 spots in Rowley for, I love up in Maine, there's places where they grow wild like crazy.
They grow
I'd love to see that in Rowley, so let me know. The best lupines I had in Austria. They're starting to come here. Oh, kohlrabi. I've done very well with kohlrabi. The purple, if you don't know them, they grow so early, delicious. All you do is peel them, eat them raw. It's one of my most favorite vegetables, eaten raw, kohlrabi. Then, ooh, did this guy come in?
like? What is it?
It's very very mild, like broccoli stem. It's very mild, like very mild radish. It's crunchy, delicious. Kohlrabi. Doesn't the kid in Austria doesn't know kohlrabi? They'll run around biting into kohlrabi like apples. Oops. Then there's some other pictures mixed in here now. But I think you saw them all. There's one more that I wanted to show off. Oh, yeah, here last year at this amazing pumpkin. And the sunflowers, of course, super tall, and making the tomato sauce. And my neighbor Pam, for weeks I've been looking over to this tree stump, not for weeks, maybe a week, thinking I need to investigate this tree stump. There's something growing over there. Anybody ever guess what this is?
Good mushrooms.
Morel mushrooms.
Morel.
So I'm a member of the Boston Mycological Society also, mushrooming. So if you guys want to hook up mushrooming, let me know. This is a little pumpkin guy. Oh, here, Clivia. I bought this thing 3 years ago at the Boston Flower Show. It's now 3 times as big. It's a stunning, stunning plant. It gets to stay outside all summer long. So this is the back. A few more pictures of the backyard, and that's it. Good. So, and who knows what that is? Oliva. This bee was so busy and I couldn't it was just fire.
And so
Look at
should
him.
just bloom every other year, or is that an annual?
This one I've only had for 2 years and it bloomed both years. I'm not crazy about the white, but the bee didn't care that it was white, and he just, it was fun to watch him. He couldn't get enough of the pollen on himself. Yeah. Okay. All right. So raffle. So the first thing, Jake, are you still taking a video?
Yes.
You must be, right? Pam, you didn't enter Pam, did you? Okay. So, Mother of 1,000. Kathy, here's your Mother of 1,000. Keep spreading it. So the original came from Sarah Bork down on Railroad Avenue, the last house that's right on the Valley River.
Thank you.
So, awesome. Good. Never seen it before. Love it. You're welcome. So, and I put away the one that we drew from that. Now the mum that I will help you plant. Margaret, do you need help planting the mum?
Yeah, well, I'll ask you if I can plant them in the barriers that we created.
Right. Well, no. It will freeze in there.
Okay.
It will freeze. So, find another
We'll
spot.
find
Then I'll
another
come
spot.
with it.
Okay.
I have to approve of the spot.
Okay. I want you to show me where to put it.
It has to come back, right? You want it to come back?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Great. So now we have the little planter with the asters. I'll help you plant that too.
Margaret again?
Margaret again.
Why don't you
Do
give
you
us
want another drawing? Another
Yeah,
drawing.
because I got one.
Donald.
Donald. Do you have any asters yet, Donald?
All right?
Asters, do you have any?
No.
Okay, great. So there are 2 asters, they're very small. I planted some in Austria as well. Maybe 2 or 3 little plants within 2 or 3 years, as big as this thing here. So these 2 guys, okay, so enjoy your asters.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Sylvia, should somebody win the sage?
Whatever you want. Or you can pass it on to everybody or wrap it up or whatever
Does
you want.
everybody want to take home a little sage? Let's give everybody a little sage. Thank you, Sylvia. Great. What else do you do with the sage? What other things you put it
I
on?
put it in soups, in turkey, chicken, stuffing.
Yeah.
Can you freeze it?
I have not. What I do actually is pick a bouquet like that and just tie it together and hang it
Yeah.
and use it dry.
Oh, right,
Or you can just dry it and bubble it up and then it's
Just-
dry.
Yeah, where the dries. Who wants some sage? Oh, and then make sure, I'm going to spread it out here. Come up here, grab another little toast, and grab some butternut squash seeds, the marigolds. They're nice and dry. There you go, Kathy. Thank you so much for coming.
That smells good.
Oh, it smells so good.
Okay.
And Pam was saying it's good to have an odor in the house too. How do you do
It's
it?
supposed to be cleansing, like the aromatherapy of it.
So would you just kind of rub it or put it in like tea?
I don't know. Yeah. Have you seen the like smudging sticks they make out of dried sage?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
That's good.
It's lovely.
So I have a few more snaps. Who would like a little snack for the road? So again, Greek yogurt and frozen chives, frozen parsley, and a little pinch of salt.
When you do
Garlic
the
rice?
frozen
Yeah.
chicken, do you just put it like in a bag and so that
Yeah.
yeah, really that's what I've done too.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Spread the word about gardening. Jake, still hungry?
Oh, sure.
Thank
you.
Sure. And I love my toast, very crunchy. It's supposed to be healthier for you too. Lower glycemic index, heavy toasted, crunchy.
Really?
The crunchier the browner, the better.
What light conditions?
I read up just yesterday again on it, and it said not too much indirect light, but mine is direct light.
Direct light, it's,
Yeah.
okay.
It's doing fine, but not, it doesn't have that much now in the winter. The house is very shady because of trees in the summer, and in the, to keep it cool, it's actually wonderful. And then now in the winter, it does get at least probably 3-4 hours of sun.
Okay.
So it's not that much. And fairly dry, not too. Was the recommendation also to have it a little bit sandy? Was that the soil might be a little bit too rich? You might want to read up on it. You might want to mix it a little. Mother of thousands.
Number of thousands.
Yeah. Just so, yeah. I'll have more mother of thousands next time. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.